who I will be voting for. I cannot vote for Trump, and unfortunately, I cannot vote for Harris because I've become a single issue voter on the Israel Palestine issue. And in general, I believe she has catered too much to the right, making the Democratic Party one that I don't recognize or support anymore. And I wish, as a Palestinian, that she would give me a crumb of some genuine hope that she cares to save Palestinian lives. And I've waited, and she won't. I haven't seen that from her, so I can't vote for her. But I also don't believe in not voting. So, although I don't think she's a very serious candidate, and of course I don't believe she would win the election this year, I will be voting for Jill Stein because my values most closely align with the Green Party, and she has shown great, sincere support to the Arab community in Michigan, and I really care about my Arab community in Michigan. I feel like I can use my vote as a message to our politicians that you must care about Arab voters to get our vote, or at least pretend to. And if Arabs don't draw the line at genocide, where could we ever draw it? If we concede with our vote on this because we need to vote the lesser of the two evils one more time, they keep saying just one more time, it's so important, just vote the lesser of the two evils. How can we be taken seriously as voters? And what incentive are politicians given to work with Arab Americans and to actually listen to us? So that's why I feel my vote this year is especially important.
So, first and foremost, Palestine will not be freed by the ballot box. Palestine will not be freed by anyone in the White House. What progresses the journey and the struggle for liberation is Palestinians in Palestine. Let's be clear. We may live in the West, we live in the belly of the beast, but we are not the main characters. The main characters are the Palestinians in Palestine resisting through militant and even civil means. Um, doesn't matter who we vote for when when both presidential candidates have declared wholehearted support for Israel. Uh, Palestine will not be freed by electoral politics, and I don't rely on electoral politics to bring change for Palestine. I'll be voting third party, and like we might have said earlier, the point of voting third party, the very least, is to send a message to the Democratic establishment. This is how badly you messed up. This is how many people you lost because your foreign policy is so bad. If a presidential candidate loses for the first time in history, for one of the main reasons being Palestine, that would be a historical moment in America. And I think we really are living in a radical time where the narrative is shifting, and there's a huge, very visible dissonance between what the masses want and what the ruling class wants. And I'll be voting third party. I'll be voting for Jill Stein, even though I think my own personal politics might be a little more radical than hers. But at the end of the day, I think she has the best chance to get enough numbers to at least make a statement during the election.
I think voting for Jill is more in line with the spirit of sort of like reclaiming your power that's been present globally since October of last year. So if I hadn't missed the deadline for the absentee ballot, I definitely would be voting for her.
And to answer this question, I follow the strategy in that for voting for Jill Stein, it's not about necessarily taking votes away from the Democrats or to say that I would have voted Democrat beforehand, but that I like the idea of the invulnerability of AIPAC to fall, right? Because we see them constantly bragging about their elections, like 99 elections run, 99 elections won, right? And when it comes to an example, the prime example we can look at, for example, is like Jamal Bowman, right? Who was a Democrat, and AIPAC is of course bipartisan. They don't care what party they're going to support both as long as, it. And for the politicians, their support from AIPAC means political success. And so to vote for Jill Stein, for me at least, means that voting for Jill Stein, right, and having these mass amount of people who otherwise would have voted for either party vote that direction, like Hamza said, is symbolic in and of its own, right, and deserves a statement. And when Hillary Clinton lost, at that time, Jill Stein had run too, and a statement that she had come out and said was that she had blamed some of her loss to Jill Stein, right? And that's enough, like, and then there wasn't the amount of attention that we have on Gaza, Palestine, and elections in general. And so even a statement like that today would have the chance to really, I believe, inspire a serious reflection within the Democratic Party, right? That even when they lose this one, right, if Gaza be the reason that they lose, it's going to have to inspire this reflection within themselves and ask questions and consider their support for AIPAC. And so I view it as a chance for AIPAC's invulnerability to falter, to fail. And then, coming the 2 years after that, when it comes to primaries, their strategy might be a lot more different. And we might see, or we will see for sure, a change in their direction. So to echo again, I'd be voting for Jill Stein.
But when it comes to this election and Kamala Harris, I do want to say, first of all, that both parties are, of course, complicit in this genocide. Both are supporting Israel. Both are receiving AIPAC money, Israeli lobbyist money, and both are not here to help the Palestinians at all. However, there is kind of been this strain with the Democratic Party because the Democrats are seen as the more leftist party, the more for the people party, that's the sort of rhetoric that is around the Democratic Party. But at the end of the day, Palestinians and our lives are not up for debate. We're not here to be a sacrifice for the lesser of two evils. We're not going to vote for a candidate that supports genocide. That is the red line. If we still vote for a candidate that supports genocide, that means these candidates can do whatever they want without any interference with the amount of votes that they're going to get every election. And the other thing too is Kamala Harris has made it very clear that she does not want the Palestinian Arab or Arab vote. She does not want our vote. She didn't let any Palestinians speak at the DNC convention. She refuses to change her stance on Palestine and Israel. She very clearly doesn't want our vote. She even said she didn't welcome a Republican into her cabinet. Like, in my opinion, Kamala Harris is really trying to get those swing voters that are sometimes Democrat, sometimes Republican, rather than actually get true leftists in this country that are not willing to vote for her if she supports the bloodshed of probably, at this point, we're looking at over 100,000 killed Palestinians in Gaza. So that's really my thoughts on this election. I did not vote for Kamala Harris. I did not vote for Donald Trump. There will be no vote for genocide at all.